Okay, John, we're delighted to have you today, the morning after the Federal Reserve increased interest rates for the first time in almost 9 years. It's been an eventful year, not least with the huge oil price falls. They started the year at $56 a barrel. Today they're down about $35, $36 a barrel. So huge developments. And when we look into 2016, and of course, if you're into your sport, it's the Olympic year in Brazil, in Rio, and Brazil is mired in recession. You look at other members of the BRIC community. Russia has got its own difficulties, not least with the oil price. China's growth is not as fast as its authorities would like. So we have the kind of sick BRICS going on at the minute. We've also seen significant divergence over the last year where the developed economies, not least probably led by the US, have been performing rather well, whereas it's been the emerging economies have been the ones that have disappointed. And I suppose one of the concerns going into 2016 is the whole legacy of the debt boom which those emerging economies experienced while the rest of the developed world were deleveraging. So what are the concerns that you have going forward, looking at the global context in 2016?
You've described the situation that we're inheriting as we go into 2016. All of the things that you put your finger on have been dramatically different to what we've been forecasting. Now, can we look to next year and say we're entering a period when we'll have a bit more stability? I venture to hope that we are, that maybe the amount of disruption going in ways that we didn't expect is now going to be minimized. I see already the beginnings of forecasts that the oil price floor has been reached and will begin to recover. I hear discussions about the rate of exchange rates. The change in the Federal Reserve rate in the United States is going to be a slightly suction factor pulling up interest rates in Europe. All of that will give a different approach to the feelings of stability. And in fact, as far as we're concerned in the United Kingdom, the relationship between the sterling value and the euro value will be the feature that is for the moment more uncertain. We will, I think, begin to mirror what's happening to the dollar, but will the euro and sterling diverge? And the possibility is that they might diverge and make our exporting problems even worse than they are at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. Divergent central bank policy is one of the themes of late. Federal Reserve is raising rates. ECB is probably going to do more monetary stimulus, which will weaken the euro. And we've got this sterling euro currently about 137, 138. Potentially that's going to go to maybe 148 into the summer. The dollar's going to go the other way, where sterling's going to weaken against that, which is good news for exporters. But in European markets, the strength of sterling is going to be bad for tourism, bad for exporters, although good for people such as yourself who want a holiday in the Eurozone next summer.
I think the important thing about this is, in terms of the Bank of England and British Treasury behaviour, the Governor of the Bank of England has long prevaricated about when would base rate in the United Kingdom be aged up by the Monetary Policy Committee. In my book, they've waited too long, but all right, that doesn't matter. The question is, where are we now? And I suspect that we are closer to edging the United Kingdom's base rate up than we had been thinking in the last 6 months. And the more that edges up, I think that changes so many things in terms of the monetary features of the economy, affecting both households and businesses, but also affecting exporters. Now, the unfortunate thing is a stronger pound sterling in general will not serve our exporting industries well, and we therefore have to say, can anything be done United Kingdom-wise, or in terms of the Northern Ireland markets, do we just have to grin and bear it?
You mentioned stability, but one of the big challenges in 2016 is going to be political stability, where we have elections in the likes of the US. We also have ongoing geopolitical concerns in the Middle East. We've got refugee crisis stemming from Syria. We've got in the Eurozone no end of crises. Greece has been put in the back burner. And we also have, of course, in the UK, where there's There's going to be the referendum on whether we have the so-called Brexit of UK staying in or leaving the EU.
For my mind, top of that list of priorities is how the process of Brexit or the referendum on staying in Europe may evolve. Looking at it at the end of December 2015, it doesn't look as if it's been managed very successfully by David Cameron and the British government. The list of demands, requests, using the word properly, is not very impressive. And for those who are on the right wing of the Conservative Party, there is no way in which the Prime Minister is going to bring back a deal that they accept. The Prime Minister is going to come back and say, we've now achieved a consensus that we need progressively to bring the style of running Europe into a form that allows individual countries to have more control of their own destiny. He can say that any day he likes, and indeed that could be the policy, but he won't get treaty change. And therefore the backbenchers in the Conservative Party are going to make life extremely difficult for their own Prime Minister. And it'll be very interesting, we come to the referendum, we're probably going to rely on the Labour Party to ensure that the referendum goes in favour of remaining part of the European Union. Bear in mind that referendum could take place during 2016. It doesn't have to wait until 2017. And David Cameron will be calculating what the risks are of going soon or later. And one of the features that we will all be watching with close interest, and particularly from a Northern Ireland point of view, if the English vote to leave the European Union, I have a strong guess, the way in which the Scots will vote. And if the Scots then say, right, another referendum, this could be a critical factor in terms of the stability of the United Kingdom economy as a unit going forward for the next X years.
Mm-hmm. So plenty of external challenges and the Northern Ireland economy, 1.8 million population, 35 billion economy, is going to have to deal with those challenges. Also at a local level, we'll have the setting up of the new Department of the Economy after the election. So plenty of food for thought going into 2016.